I feel like this game's kind of up its own ass with the symbolism and stuff. It's so fucking deep. It's like, is it? You know? Is it? Is it deep? Could have gone without a few of those, like, pink rooms or whatever. I feel like they're trying to be like Limbo or Inside or whatever, and you're like, oh, what's it all mean? What's it all mean? And it's like, I don't know. I think you're trying a little too hard. I still thought it was okay. I'd give the game like a... My review of the game, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Like, the sequence with the teacher, the sequence with the mannequins were pretty good, pretty creepy. But, like, there's just, like, gameplay flaws. The two major flaws for me that I noticed is, like, when you're controlling the flashlight, and it's like the joystick and the flashlight just do not line up well in terms of controlling it. And if you let your finger off the flashlight at all, you'll get killed. Problem number 2. The platforming is, like, isometric, but there's a lot of platforming in the game. So it's like the puzzle requires no... you know, like, doesn't require too much. And it's like, oh, move something to over here. And then you inevitably have to, like, jump from one thing to another. And the camera angle is not, like, the way that the game is set up is not for platforming. So there's a couple of puzzles where I thought I had the wrong solution because I would, like, jump and miss the jump. And I was like, look it up on the YouTube. And it was like, oh, no, I was doing it right. I just wasn't, like, lining up the jump correctly. And it's really hard to line them up because of the way the camera angle is. And the other thing I'd say about the game, is that, like, whenever you're in a chase sequence or one of these sequences where you're supposed to, like, try and figure out what to do before the bad guy gets to you or whatever, or, like, an enemy appears and you're like, oh god, let me go grab the axe or something, it loses its fear factor because if you don't do it perfectly, you will die. Like, so if you're running from an enemy or something like that and you don't know where you're going or you don't know what switch to push or whatever thing, he's gonna get you. So that just, like, led me to, like, not be scared at all and be like, oh, well, I'm just gonna run through it and figure out what I need to do. Because, like, in those types of situations, I feel like in video games, those situations are scary because they're giving you just enough time to, like, not just get away, but also figure out how to get away, which allows you to, like, be kind of frantic. In this, I never was able to get away in a situation if I didn't already know where I was supposed to go, almost. Like, because they leave you this much time to figure out what to do, so I would always just die. And it just takes away from the fear if you know you can't survive. And then there just was, like, a lot of, I don't know, like, for a game that was being really vague with the story. Yeah. The game was, like, really vague with the story. It's just, like, creepy sequence after creepy sequence. It's not like something like Limbo or Inside where there's a consistent shtick. I understand that it's maybe, like, just different nightmare sequences lined up. Like, kind of like a dream. In a game like Limbo, it's like, no, it's pretty consistent in terms of the world as to, like, are we in purgatory? It's some kind of weird afterlife. And Inside, it's like some kind of weird dystopian brainwashing thing. And with this, there wasn't really a consistent narrative, but it was still trying to be like, oh, it's deep and give you all these, like, kind of story-driven things, which just didn't seem to lead anywhere. And it just got kind of annoying. The fact that it's like, oh, you have to do, you know, spend 5-10 minutes here, you're doing a story sequence. And I was like, yeah, it just didn't seem necessary, especially at the end of the game when it's like, oh, I'm going in this pink room, follow the music to this place, follow the music. It's like, it didn't really need to, like, last as long as it did. As soon as I figured out that you follow the music from room to room, like, some of the puzzles, it was just so stupid. It's like, oh, there's a board sticking up in the middle of the room that you need to push over so you can reach one end of the room. That's not a puzzle. That's just a, like, I didn't even realize that was a board you could push over. It's not a puzzle. It's just me not knowing something. You know, it's like, oh, well, I guess I should have known that you need to push the board over. It's not a puzzle. It's just annoying. So I felt like, I don't know. There were a lot of annoying things about it, but there were some pretty creative, creepy things though too. So I give it like a 7 out of 10. You know, creepy, fun, some interesting environments and artwork. Definitely some of the bits with like the mannequins and stuff were done in an interesting way. Yeah. Did you guys like it? Did you guys like watching me try and make it through a creepy-ish game? I don't know if any of you guys have played this game already.